Ladies and gentlemen, happy new week. I trust you're doing well and everything is falling into place this week. And I pray that this week become a very beautiful week to all of us. Now, welcome to another episode of Leadership. And today we are debunking how you can succeed in your next role as a leader. It is important that we succeed as leaders worth following. Now imagine you've just been hired to be the head of department at that new organization, or you're just coming in to lead that group that you have been a member in. What do you need to do so as to succeed? Now, to help us succeed in our next leadership role, I would like us to consider Bruce Tuckman stages of team formation. So that is Bruce Tuckman stages of team formation. Now, these stages of team formation was put forth by Bruce Tuckman in the year 1965. So he enumerated how a team goes from the forming, storming, performing, norming, and adjourning. Now, as a leader, when you are coming in, one thing you need to know is you are coming in and you are coming to form a team. So the first stage in the Bruce Tuckman stages of team formation is the forming stage. Now, how can we be impactful in this forming stage? Number one, you need to know those who you are working with very well. Know their interests. Know their personality. Are they extrovert? Are they introvert? Know their capabilities. Do we have people who can do things in a much better way than you can do? This will help us to ensure that we can delegate some tasks to them, and at the long run, the team will run very well. Part of the forming stage is we have to set ground rules. So for example, one of the ground rules will be what is the code of conduct at meetings? At what times do we meet as a department, as a group? That needs to be laid out very, very clearly. Now, part of that forming stage is to ensure that everything becomes aligned. So if we move from the forming without ensuring that we have a vision, we have a mission, what do we plan to achieve? What are our short-term goals? What are our long-term goals? This needs to be set out clearly in the forming stage. Number two is the storming stage. Now, as it sounds, storming means the boat is rocking side by side. So this is normally characterized by conflicts. Now, when we think about conflicts can be caused because of different views or different ways of working. So in terms of the storming stage, we need to be sure that this is a stage that will always come as we manage teams, as we manage people, as we become heads of departments or organization. Once you move from the forming stage, be sure that the storming stage will always come. One of the things we need to do about the storming stage is to ensure that we confront conflict when it comes. We need not to sweep the dirt under the carpet, because soon the smell will not be able to take it. So the storming stage is a very important stage that a leader needs to be very, very much aware of. In the storming stage, it's also important to bring your team together. Look back and check what were the vision we set across. What were our goals, the short-term and long-term goals? Is there anything we've achieved? it's important to celebrate the wins during the storming stage. Conflict resolution. As a leader, we have to invest in mechanisms for conflict resolution. We have to negotiate with those who, when a conflict arises, we have to do that. Once we are done with the storming stage, which is normally one of the heaviest stage, we have to go to a stage that Bruce Tuckman proposed, which is the norming stage. Now, the norming stage is a very interesting stage because this is where everything flows. Yes. So if we have the norms, we see everybody is following the norms. Everybody is following the rules. Nobody is being followed up. So it's all about everything moving very, very smoothly. Now, the storming stage is normally a good stage for a leader to make strategic plans about how you want to move to the next level. If everything is falling in place, we need to ask ourselves, how can we take things to the higher level? Now, after the norming stage, we have the performing stage. So the performing stage is where the team actually achieves the set out goals, the set out objectives. The mission is clearly on track. Now, this is one of the stages that every leader aspires their team to be. But remember, we cannot move to the performing stage if we got it wrong from the forming stage. So, the performing stage is a stage where the accolades come for the team. The team is being recognized in that organization. The team is being recognized in the industry as experts. So it's a very interesting stage that the leader enjoys and celebrates with the team members. Now, last but not least is the adjourning stage. Now, the adjourning stage is where everything has come to an end. We have achieved our mission. We have achieved our goals. And now it is time to wrap up the course. So perhaps in that group, it is the end of your tenure and you have to hand over to another team that is coming in. So that happens in the adjourning stage. So the adjourning stage is where everybody just says goodbye and they celebrate whatever they have achieved. The lesson they have learned, they take them into course and they can use them for another leadership role. Now, in order for us to succeed in our leadership role, we need to understand the stages of team formation. That is the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. If we get it right from the forming stage, be sure we will be able to overcome the storming stage, we will be able to reach the norming stage, we will celebrate in the performing stage, and lastly, the adjourning stage will be a stage where we look forward to. Now, in terms of maneuvering and setting great goals, this can only happen in the forming stage. So remember, the forming stage is the foundation of every leadership role that you take. If you get it wrong from the foundation, your building as a leader will not stand. So today is to ask you, think about the Bruce Tuckman stages of team formation. If you get it right, you are going to succeed in your next leadership role. My name is John Felix Otieno, and until next time, bye-bye for now.